My wife threatened divorce when she thought she would take everything. When she realized she would walk away with nothing, she tried to backtrack and blamed her single mother friends for influencing her. What followed was unbelievable, brutal, secretive, and the most satisfying justice I could imagine. Hello, Reddit I plus here. I never expected my marriage to turn into a courtroom chess match, or for my wife to weaponize divorce like a lottery ticket she thought she already won. But when she realized she would not leave with everything, the panic, lies, and secret schemes she tried to pull off turned into the most brutal and satisfying justice I have ever witnessed. My wife, Ruth, changed slowly over time. When we married, she was warm, supportive, and grateful. Somewhere in our 6th year together, that warmth hardened into pride and entitlement. She had started spending all her time with a small circle of single friends who loved talking about independence, freedom, and how men hold women back. I did not care about her having friends. I cared about how different she became after spending hours with them. Suddenly I was not her partner. I was her opponent. Every conversation was a debate. Every suggestion I made was controlling. Every effort I put into supporting our lives was treated like something she was owed. The turning point came the day she said it for the first time, calm and confident like she practiced in the mirror. You know I could leave at any moment and take half. Actually, probably more. You built everything while married. That makes it partly mine. Maybe completely. She expected me to panic. She expected begging. Instead, I stared at her and said nothing. That silence scared her, although she did not realize why yet. The threat that started. Everything over time, this became her favorite threat. If I asked about spending, she would bring up divorce. If I asked why she spent weekends out late without explanation, divorce again. When she saw me tired from work and stress, she said, divorce like it was a hammer she could slam any time she wanted to remind me who held the power. She told her friends we were getting divorced. She bragged that she would walk away rich. She laughed that I would regret ever thinking I was the smart one in the relationship. She kept saying it until one day she pushed too far. She demanded separation, shouted she was done, then proudly called a lawyer while I stood there listening. She wanted scorched earth, or so she thought. Her arrogance cracked the moment her lawyer educated her. We live in a country where laws care about who contributed, who made sacrifices, whose name is on what, and what was built before marriage. It turns out, the house was mine before the marriage. The business was registered solely to me before the marriage. We never merged bank accounts. Everything large she enjoyed had been protected long ago by paperwork she never bothered to understand. When her lawyer told her she might walk with very little, if anything at all, she spiraled. Suddenly divorce was a mistake. Suddenly she loved me. Suddenly it was not her fault, but her friends for poisoning her mind. Suddenly she cried and grabbed my hands and said she did not mean any of it. She thought tears would erase what she had done. But now, it was my turn to remain silent. And that silence terrified her more than anything I could have said. Because while she was threatening, I was preparing. Deep dive into what she never knew. Ruth did not know I had noticed a long time ago that something was wrong. She did not know I quietly gathered evidence. She did not know I spoke to attorneys. She did not know my financial moves were deliberate. She did not know my patience was strategic. I loved my wife. I would have supported her if she ever came to me honestly. Instead, she chose manipulation, entitlement, and greed. And worst of all, I discovered something far darker than influence from friends. Her single mother group was not just a bunch of friends complaining about men. It was a network where women bragged about how to extract resources from partners, how to manipulate divorce settlements, how to secure long-term financial benefits through children, courts, or false dependency. They shared strategies. They laughed about it. One of them even coached others on how to make men look abusive to win sympathy. I had screenshots, messages, voice notes, and a detail that destroyed whatever emotional attachment I had left. Ruth had tried to trap me into parenthood purely to strengthen her leverage if divorce ever came. She told her friends that a child would guarantee her permanent benefits. She never told me. She planned to force the biggest decision of my life, not out of love, but strategy. That broke something in me completely. She was no longer my wife. She was a threat I had to neutralize. I confront her. When she tried to walk back the divorce, I finally spoke. I am not stopping it. Her face crumbled. Please. I was confused. They pressured me. They made me paranoid. I do not want to lose you. Then she tried to switch back to anger. Accusations, tears, begging, blame. I remained calm the entire time. Then I placed a folder in front of her and watched the color vanish from her skin. Screenshots of her messages, her posts in the group. Proof of her plan. Proof she did intend to destroy me and profit from it. She looked completely defeated. You saved everything? Her voice was barely a whisper. I learned to protect myself from the person I sleep beside. Her tears were real now. Not manipulative ones. Not crocodile ones. These were the tears of someone realizing they were no longer the predator in the situation. The court case that followed was quiet and devastating for her. Her group of friends abandoned her when legal attention appeared. Their confidence disappeared the moment consequences became real. She was alone. Her attorney withdrew when confronted with what she had done. Judges do not like people who treat the legal system like a casino. They hate manipulation beyond anything else. She tried blaming everyone except herself. She said it was peer pressure. She said she never meant it. She said she loved me. The court did not care about emotions. They cared about facts. She was denied most of what she thought she would take. She lost credibility. She lost respect. She lost everything she assumed she controlled. During final proceedings, the judge examined my evidence, the financial history, and her online activity. Then came the moment that changed everything. The judge turned to her and said, "This was not a marriage problem. This was a greed problem." She was awarded almost nothing. No house, no assets, minimal support for a short transition period, and a clear statement that her actions were manipulative and destructive. She did not walk away rich. She walked away with public humiliation and legal consequences. She walked away realizing the very thing she used as a weapon destroyed her. And the best part, the court granted me full control of certain shared items she assumed she would keep, even sentimental ones she thought I would surrender. I did not gloat. I did not celebrate in front of her. I simply walked out of that courtroom lighter than I had felt in years. Her friends, they distanced themselves to protect their reputations. Her life became smaller. Opportunities faded. People who once hyped her vanished. Reality humbled her in the most brutal way possible. Years later, mutual acquaintances tell me she regrets everything. She admits she lost someone who actually cared. She says pride and greed cost her everything. That is not my problem anymore. Justice did not look like revenge. Justice looked like truth winning. It looked like consequences finally catching the person who believed they were untouchable. It looked like me walking free with peace, dignity, and strength. I learned something powerful. Do not respond to threats with panic. Respond with preparation. Respond with patience. Respond with truth. And when someone tries to destroy you out of greed, do not fight emotionally. Let their own actions bury them. Because in the end, she taught me a lesson she never intended to. Strength is quiet, power is restraint. And sometimes the most satisfying justice is simply watching someone fall into the very trap they built for you. For a while, I enjoyed silence. No arguments, no emotional warfare, just peace. That peace lasted exactly 3 weeks. Then she called, crying, sobbing, hyperventilating. She said she needed to meet urgently. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet in a public place. She arrived shaking, acting terrified, clutching her stomach. "I am pregnant." The world stopped for a moment, not out of excitement, not even fear, just shock. A flood of thoughts ran through my mind. Was it true? Was she lying? Was this another desperate tactic? Was this the final card she saved for last? I stayed calm. "When did you find out?" She hesitated for too long. Her eyes darted. She fumbled through time frames. Nothing lined up. That was my first red flag. Then she went straight to her point. "If you do not take me back, I will go to court. I will make sure you pay for the rest of your life." There it was. The real motive. She did not announce a child. She announced a financial weapon. She expected fear. She expected me to break. She expected me to fall back into line. But I had learned who I was dealing with. She flooded my phone daily. Messages filled with love. Then rage. Then begging. Then threats. Then emotional guilt. She told everyone I abandoned a pregnant woman. She tried to paint herself as a victim. She hoped pressure from others would force me to return. Her story changed constantly. Dates changed. Details changed. Her dramatic tears grew more theatrical. Something did not feel right. So I made a call to my attorney. He smiled when I explained everything and said one sentence that changed everything. "Truth loves evidence." The court requested proof. Medical documentation. Physician statements. Dates. At first, she resisted. She said I should trust her. She said it was insulting to doubt her. She said a real man would not question. The legal system does not care about feelings. They care about verification. Eventually, she submitted documents. And that was the moment everything blew up. The timeline proved something she desperately hoped would never surface. She was indeed pregnant, but the conception date? It happened while she was still married. At the same time, she was threatening divorce. At the same time, she was planning to financially destroy me. And most importantly, it did not match with my presence in her life, meaning it was not mine. Her perfect strategy detonated in her hands. Her lawyer tried to spin it. Maybe medical records were wrong, maybe cycles were irregular, maybe it was stress-related. But reality is stubborn. There are numbers. There is science. There is truth. When it became undeniable, the judge turned to her and asked, "Do you want to correct your statement before we proceed into fraud territory?" She broke. She confessed. She cried. She admitted she thought pregnancy would force reconciliation or guarantee financial ties. She thought being legally tied through a child would grant her permanent access to my life. She planned to place another man's child on my shoulders because it was convenient. Everyone in that room saw her for what she truly was, not confused, not influenced, not emotional, calculated. She tried one final desperate threat. Even after that humiliation, she tried another move. She threatened to file for emotional damages. She threatened to accuse me publicly. She threatened to sue for stress and abandonment. It went nowhere. Courts do not reward strategic chaos. Judges do not show mercy to someone who tried to fabricate a lifelong obligation. The legal system does not bend for theatrics. Her lies collapsed completely. Her reputation followed. Word spread through her circles. Those same friends who once cheered her plans disappeared the moment accountability appeared. Now they did not want to be associated with her. Not socially, not legally, not morally. She was alone in every sense of the word. She asked to see me one last time. I agreed, not for her sake, but for closure for myself. She sat across from me, smaller than I remembered. No confidence, no defiance, just quiet regret. She whispered one sentence. I ruined everything because I thought power meant control. I did not argue. I did not comfort. I did not destroy her with words. I simply said, "You ruined everything because you chose greed over love, deception over honesty, and manipulation over partnership. This is your consequence." Then I stood up and walked away. No shouting, no dramatic goodbye, no looking back, just silence. The most powerful ending possible. She eventually had the child. The real father refused involvement. Her life became a reality of responsibility without strategy. Cause followed effect. Choice met consequence. Every story she tried to twist collapsed. Every narrative she tried to control dissolved. Meanwhile, my life became peaceful, healthy, free. Not because I won, but because I refused to let myself be destroyed. Final lesson and payoff. She tried to control the court, the narrative, my emotions, my future. She failed. Truth beat manipulation. Patience beat chaos. Preparation beat entitlement. And I learned something priceless. Real strength is not shouting. Real power is not control. Real victory is walking away with dignity while karma finishes what you no longer need to fight. I did not ruin her life. She did. And that was the most satisfying justice of all.